Hi, everyone. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Hope you're doing great this morning. Thank you so much for being here. I know I say this every day, but it's really true. I appreciate knowing that you're there by my side. Sometimes I wake up in the morning. I live alone, so I kind of sometimes wish I could get my morning hugs, and I do this virtually with you guys. And I hope that you feel the same. I hope that you feel comfortable here, that you feel welcome and part of this community. We've worked for 5 years to build a community here with 60 and Me that is good for everybody, and good for women over 50, even younger, and taking us through the years where we're going through big transitions. Big changes. And sometimes it's a happy day and sometimes it's not so happy because the world we live in is not a very, I don't know, very stable place right now. And it's hard to feel all the time upbeat. But we're here for each other and that's what matters. We're here to help each other. And, I just wanted to also remind you that 60 and Me, we've been around now for 5 years and we've never asked for a membership fee or anything like that. So if you're interested in helping support us, excuse me, patreon.com is our channel for that. And you can do like $1, $3, whatever you feel that you can afford. And it really helps us to move this business forward. It's very expensive to run a business like this with all the videos that we do and all the different content that we provide. And it's just really helpful to know that we can reach out to those people that can afford it to give us a hand. And so if you go to patreon.com/60andme, you can make a contribution. And we do all kinds of stuff on that channel that is a little bit easier than on a big platform. We have private conversations. We have a live show every month where we get together and just chat about stuff that's of interest to a smaller group. And then we talk throughout the month on topics and questions on an exclusive videos that you won't get anywhere else. So it's kind of like a little subset of our 60 and Me world. So if you could like to join us, I'd really welcome you and thank you for that. So today, my tea, I've got a little bit of a weird throat this morning, but my tea this morning is my hibiscus, golden hibiscus. I love this tea. It's hibiscus, which is a flower, and turmeric, which is again one of my favorite drinks, or spices. So anyway, cheers to everybody. I've drunk most of it. Hope that you're doing great, and have your own tea or coffee there. So all good. Now, thinking about what I said earlier about the world being not in such a very stable place at the moment, it's kind of hard to accept what we have. And I think when we get to our age, we kind of we think we should have what we want. And that's in everything, in relationships, in the way that we live our lives. And of course, we know that's not realistic because we have made decisions along the way sometimes that have taken us from those goals. And we find ourselves with a reality that's not exactly what we want. And I can certainly speak to this as well. So I'm in the same position as many of you. Now, one of our bloggers, Eileen Marcus, wrote this article about how to accept and celebrate, what you have. And that's a very funny article, actually. She talks about, she wants to buy a new car and she wants leather seats. But like she doesn't need leather seats. Like it's going to add a whole lot of money to the cost of the car. So she didn't get the leather seats. And then she was saying, how does she learn to love her car without the leather seats? Which is kind of funny, but it's a materialistic thing. But it's true that we want stuff and it's hard to determine kind of what we need as opposed to what we want. And for me, actually, just as a side note, is I actually have a gratitude list in my mind that I run through very, very often because, I live in a very small space. I don't have, a lot of possessions anymore, and that's by choice. But, sometimes I have a sofa bed that I sleep on. And sometimes at night getting ready for bed and I think, gosh, I don't have a real proper bed. And then I think, yeah, but I have a place to sleep. I have a safe place with a roof and a warm house, a warm room, and I could be in a situation where that wouldn't be the case. So I think it's, sometimes just comparing your situation to the reality of millions of people. And it just helps me anyway. It's one of my ways. Also, I come back from a trip sometimes where I've been on a bumpy train or a bumpy plane ride. And I think, oh, thank goodness my sofa bed isn't moving. Relatively speaking, it's super comfortable. And I think that helps for me. Now, for Eileen, she says the same thing. Make a gratitude list often. You've got your health, of course, hopefully. And I know there are people who don't have perfect health and they're struggling. And my heart goes out to you and you know that you're loved and through these journeys that you're facing. I know that there are many of you, but we are here. We have our families, hopefully. We have friends, and we have no major nuclear war going on at the moment. We have lots of very volatile situations around the world, but we are in relative peaceful times. I say relatively, but it's a matter of finding joy in the practical things of everyday life. A great cup of coffee, a soft towel, hot water, fresh water, access to the internet. Yes, I mean, there's things that are so basic for me. If I could list my five things, like internet would be at the top. But anyway, I think the secret, as Eileen points out, is to enjoy what you have today. Someday you do these talks like someday when I'm thinner in the future, or someday in the future when I have more money, I will. When I'm in a relationship, I will. ... And this is just not a healthy way to live, is it? Because today is today. That day is right now. That there is no tomorrow to be thinking about with this. You have to just remember, that you've got things around you right now because of decisions you've made. Embrace them and love them. Learn to be happy with the small things. Sometimes when I can't travel, because I save up and then I spend all my money on travel, I have to wait a few more months. I come back and I just get on a bus. I pay a couple of dollars and I go on a bus and I just go from place to place just to have that sense of, got some hair in my face here, just to have that sense of going somewhere. And I look out the window, maybe take a thermos of coffee, sit in the back and just watch the fields go by, watch the kids going to school, watch the animals in the fields, flowers, changing leaves, all those kinds of little small things that are so important. But I think it's important as well, though, to know what are your non-negotiables. What are the things that you absolutely cannot live without? So, and then you prioritize. And if you don't have enough money for those things, you find the way to get good enough. So for me, as I said, internet is super important. My phone is very important because it links me to my family and to safety and to my friends. So I think if I had to choose one expense every month that I would really prioritize, I'd even cut back on food, would be to have a good internet and phone. I can live without a private jet, as Eileen says, or a fridge with no automatic ice maker. I don't have an ice maker. And I could live without a boat. I can live without all these things. But I really can't live without internet, and I certainly can't live without the people. I mean, that's obviously number one. So I think that's super important. I can't live without low-cost plane fares. I mean, EasyJet's become my best friend because I can go places for under $50, and that's good enough. I stay in a hostel if I need to, but I need to travel. That's part of my being. I miss it. And it's not high-cost travel, trust me. But there's a difference between things I would love to have, like salted caramels. I'd like to have a regular delivery of salted caramels from a little place in Stockholm where I found the best salted caramels ever. If I've got anybody in Sweden, I will actually love you forever if you go and get me some salted caramels. I will pay you to ship them to me. Seriously, they're so good. Anyway, I think it's, as Eileen says, turn your frown upside down. I love that phrase. Your smile is your most valuable asset. That song, that smile and the whole world smiles with you. It's true. I know it's hard sometimes. Oh, trust me. I know you want to cry, but you just have to sometimes just say, hey, it's okay. And turn the frown upside down and smile. And another thing that Eileen mentions, which I think is super important, and I do it too, is try to treat yourself to small indulgences now and again. Even if it's a tiny little tea bag or a tiny piece of chocolate, or maybe just a very inexpensive pair of underwear, as Eileen mentions. Travel is expensive, we know, but maybe just do a bus ride, like I said, or something out of the routine that makes you feel special. That's a small indulgence. Give yourself permission to enjoy it. And don't freak out if you don't have enough money to buy the big version. Buy a small version, or even ask for a sample. I actually go into shops sometimes, and in fact, this happened the other day. I actually went into a shop and bought some coconut oil, and then I said, could you give me a sample of that for creme de la mer foundation, which is in fact what I'm wearing today. And I don't know if you know creme de la mer, but it's like $200 a jar for the cream, and the foundation I think is like $120 a bottle. And I would never in a million years well, number one, I would never buy it at that price, but I would never be able to afford to buy it. But I got a little sample, and she was very sweet because I bought a little jar of coconut oil. I wasn't going to just ask for nothing, and she gave me a little sample. So I come home and played with the Creme de la Mer foundation, which is actually very nice. So anyway, that's the thing. Give yourself permission to indulge in a small indulgence. So anyway, I think as Eileen concludes, don't think about what you don't have, but think about what you have. You have this too. You have 60andMe, and you have your experiences, you have your wisdom, your time, and you have all the memories that you have accumulated across your wonderful life. So you've got a lot. And I know it's hard sometimes to be grateful for those things in the midst of a situation where you're lacking, but that's just a way to try to get through it. So everybody, I do hope that you have a great day today. Tell us what small indulgences you enjoy, even when you have no money or very little money. What's a small indulgence that you love? Let us know in the comment section below. Just go down to the bottom of the article and where it says comments and just leave a little few words there. And then feed off each other. Share and like and comment. It's the way that we really appreciate your engagement. Tell us what your small indulgences are. Okay, everybody, well, have a wonderful day. Hope you do something fun, and let us know what your indulgences are. Let's have a conversation. We'll see you all again really, really soon. Bye-bye for now.